you have had a great week and are looking forward to a wonderful weekend. I'm so pleased to welcome to the show someone we're going to talk about, just to set the stage a little bit, the fact that life, well, when you're kind of coasting along without too many clouds in sight, life seems easy, but life does not always last that way for very long, does it? There are often challenges, little obstacles, and that's when we need to make some decisions in terms of how we're going to process those and what impact we're going to let those little challenges have on us. I'm so pleased to welcome to the show someone who has done a lot of thinking about this, a lot of talking and writing as well. She has a book out that is wonderful. It is called Faith to Conquer Fear, Inspiration to Achieve Your Dreams. Love it. I'm so pleased to say hello to Christy Demetrakis. Hi, Christy.
Hello, Mary. How are you?
Well, I'm doing wonderful. First of all, I don't think I pronounced your name correctly at all. It wasn't sounding right as I was listening to myself say it, Christy.
It's Christy Demetrakis.
Demetrakis.
Yes.
Thank you. I was not sure which syllable the accent went on.
Quite
Demetrakis.
Quite all right. You're not the first.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hey, congratulations on your book being out. It is wonderful.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited about this book.
Yes, it is wonderful. And the inspiration to achieve your dreams, that's something that I feel very passionate about. I talk about that a lot on the show. I'm such a believer, Christy, that we all have so much more control over our lives than we realize, and certainly more than most people take advantage. And I love the fact that you are incorporating faith in the title and in your book. Talk about that word, if you will, and what that word means to you.
Yeah, and faith does mean different things to different people,
yes.
Right? And for me, I am a Christian. I have a very spiritually based background, and so for me, faith means that reliance on God and that believing that whatever it is you set your mind to do, that He is the cornerstone that will help you to achieve that thing. And so that's what faith specifically means for me.
And when you say that, you're not, or maybe you are you saying that even in relation to a particular religion?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
People have faith in a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And have faith in a lot of people. And ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, certainly the most important thing for me is faith in God, but you have to have a faith in yourself. Because you can have a wonderful idea, but if you don't believe you can do it, and faith is belief, right? And belief in things that you don't see yet.
Yes.
So if you don't have faith in the fact that you can even do this, even though you've got these grand plans, you've written out all these, you have journals and journals of wonderful, witty inventions and things, if you don't have faith, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely. It's interesting, Christy, the signature sign-off to my show is, and always has been and always will be, believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting here nodding as you're talking because I'm all over that. I just love it. Well, what do you think, with your experience, and Christy is the president of the Empowered Speaker. It's a communication skills training company, and she's worked for Fortune 500 companies for years and years in different types of managerial positions. With all your thinking and talking and writing on this subject, what do you think, Christy, gets in our way the most?
We do. Self.
Ourself. There you go.
Self gets in the way, and we can keep ourselves from doing something quicker than anybody else. It's very easy to listen to outside comments and intervention and, oh, you can't do that. And a lot of people say, oh, nobody's ever had faith in me. Nobody's ever had confidence that I could do. I didn't do well in school. I didn't do well, blah, 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 blah. And it is certainly our choice of what things we choose to embrace.
Absolutely.
Every feedback is a gift. I always tell people this: feedback is a gift, which means you always have the option to take it. Mm-hmm. So if you choose to internalize things that may have happened to you negatively that have given you a poor self-esteem or poor self-image, that's a choice. But you have the opposite choice as well to say, you know what, I'm going to overcome these things. I realize that I might not be the most outgoing person, but I really have this wonderful idea and I really have this great message that I want to get out. So guess what? I'm going to go get training. I'm going to do some things. I'm going to proactively do some things that help to push me beyond what I know I normally like to do outside of my comfort zone.
Oh, boy, isn't that important?
Yeah.
Isn't that important? And I also think, going back to what you just mentioned a moment ago, I think women in particular, and you may or may not agree, but in my experience, I think women in particular have an issue with that, and also have an issue with caring maybe just a tad too much what other people think and what other people say. So you're right, we are our own worst enemies.
We are. And and being a woman is a wonderful thing, right? We can relate. It's a wonderful thing. And there's a lot of great things about being women, because we have the ability to lead and we have the ability to be compassionate, which is not something that's necessarily natural for men. So we have these wonderful skill sets that God has given us, and we just have to figure out how to leverage them.
That's right. The title of Christy's book is Faith to Conquer Fear, Inspiration to Achieve Your Dreams. Love the title, love the message, and I also would like to ask you about your chapter titles, because each chapter is a word. For example, one of my favorite words, well, I love all of these words, confidence, love that, but talk for a moment, if you would, about attitude.
Oh, my goodness.
Huge, attitude. Christy, huge.
And I'll tell you just the quick story that's in the book. And each of the chapters is based on the steps that I believe and the characteristics that I believe are necessary for you to ultimately achieve your dreams. So that's how the book is laid out. But from an attitude standpoint, I tell a story in the book about my son, who at the time of the book was 10 years old. And he had just started playing football for the very first time. Now, my husband is All-American, All-Pro, blah, 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 blah. And so it was only natural that my son would play football. And so the first year he went out to play, he was all upset. He'd come home every day. They just keep yelling at me. They expect me to know this, and they expect me to know that's my first time playing football, and I'm just tired. And, as a mom, for those first few times, you're all sympathetic, and you're running the warm bath, and, baby, it's okay. You'll do better tomorrow. And then finally, my natural instinct kicked in, and I said, Colin, you live in a house with a man who has played college football, who has coached people, who has nothing more that he would love to do than to pour everything he knows into you. You are not taking advantage of the resources that you have. So I am no longer going to listen to you whine and complain about how you don't know this and you don't know that. You have the resources and the ability to get exactly what you need to be great. And it changed his perspective, not overnight, but it changed his perspective. So the next year he played, he ended up being the MVP of the league.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, he did. And I'm a proud mom, right? Because I love to watch him play, but he needed an attitude shift. Yes. Because I had an option to help him as a parent. I could either let him just wallow around and, oh, my gosh, they're just yelling at me every day, and I could feel sorry for my baby. Or I could help him man up and go, you know what, get it done. I'm a get it done kind of mama.
That's right. You got your tough side there, Christy. I love it. But, and that example is so wonderful and heartfelt, certainly. I love the way you tell it. But it's so perfect because it really depicts, doesn't it, how most situations, maybe 98% or so situations we encounter, we make decisions. We can choose this, we can choose that. In every moment, every hour, we can choose to be happy, we can choose to be unhappy.
Yes.
And so what a gift to give him that lesson at the age of 10. Good for you, Christy.
Now, will he remember next year? I don't know.
I know, that's right. Oh, I bet he will. I bet he will.
I think he will. He's an awesome football player.
Yeah. Oh, and what's so wonderful? I wish that the things that you talk about in your book in terms of the different traits, as you say, communication and change and decisions and dreams, confidence, character, determination, attitude, it goes on and on. Wouldn't it be wonderful if those were things that little boys and little girls were taught in school?
It would be a wonderful thing.
It would be a wonderful thing.
It would be.
It would be a different world that we live in, wouldn't it?
It sure would be.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. So what kind of feedback, Christy? I can only imagine that you're getting wonderful feedback from your book. What are you hearing from it?
Yeah, I hear from people, I am so inspired. And that's great because that's in the title, right? So that's obviously what I wanted to happen. But, it's funny when you write a book, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but you write a book and you always know your mom's going to like the book. So it really doesn't matter what mom says because mom loves the book. just because her baby wrote it. But I have had so many people come up to me and say, you have inspired me to want to do what I've been thinking about all this time. And I especially hear from people who know me. You know, I sing in the choir next to them, or I serve on this board with them, or I'm in this organization with them, and they go, if you can do it, because I'm human to them.
Yes.
I'm not James Patterson. I'm not, Dean Koontz. I'm human to them. They go, if you can do it, and I see all the things that you do outside of this, I can do it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want people to take away. When I wrote this book, yes, I wanted people to love it, but I realized I really wrote it for me. If no one ever bought a copy of this book, it would have been well worth the effort and the expense for what I got out of it.
And you've obviously learned these lessons through your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
It is wonderful. Now, my guess is, Christy and this is the first time we're talking, so I could be way off base here, but my guess is you have another book in you. I'm just sensing it.
Actually, no.
Really? Really? So you're not thinking of another one at this moment?
I'm not thinking about that right now.
Really? Okay. Well, you get back to me, because I have a feeling that's going to change.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong.
Maybe
but
it's prophetic.
But
You're not the first person to say it, so
I suspect not. What state are you in, by the way?
I'm in Kentucky.
You are? Oh, goodness. Well, Christy, thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful book. Just one last question. I know I need to let you run. Of the 15 or so chapters, and again, this book they are relatively short chapters. It's, I don't want to say easy to read, because that sounds like insulting.
Well, but it is an easy read.
But it is an easy read, so I guess I will say that.
Inspired when you're done.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Everyone is going to be inspired. If you had to pick just one of these chapters that, if someone could do just one of these, you would think might make the biggest difference in their life. And that's a tough question. I realize it's like, which of your kids do you like more?
Exactly. That's a loaded question.
I know.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you my favorite chapter.
There you go.
My favorite chapter is dreams. Because I think everything starts with a dream. It starts with inspiration, but it also starts with a dream. And once you embrace the dream and realize that you can actually walk it out, I think that makes all the difference for people. And this is also why I tell people, tell other people what your dreams are, because you never know who you're talking to. You may be talking to the one person who can actually help you make that thing come true.
That's right.
Yep.
And you have wonderful, and I'm a real quote person, you have wonderful quotes throughout the book.
Thank you.
Each of the chapter, which, just sums up in few words a great deal of wisdom. I love that. Oh, Christy, I'm so glad we had a chance to talk today. Faith to conquer fear, inspiration to achieve your dreams. Do you have a website, by the way?
I do. My website is empoweredspeaker.com. And my book is available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
So it is everywhere.
It is everywhere.
In other words. Oh, terrific. And that's empoweredspeaker.com. And you just get back to me when that other book is written, Christy. We'll stay in touch there.
All right. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I really did like her. And again, this book, I am liking it. I am liking it. Right up our alley, isn't it? In terms of just recognizing how much control we have over our lives, that we can fulfill our dreams, that we can create a life that is so darn joyful. And it's up to us. Love that. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Open phones. Our number is 1-888-574-2723. I have a new iPad. Very exciting. Well, it's not the latest iPad. I guess there were 4 versions. I have the 3rd version of the iPad. Kind of cool. Stay with me. We'll be right back. This is Mary Jones on a Friday, the first day of the weekend on the Talk of Connecticut.
You're listening to the Mary Jones Show on the Talk of Connecticut.